What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play. Oh, Pokemon White. Gosh dang it, those repels wearing off so fast. Can't wait to get rid of these basic ones. Anyways, in the last episode, we caught ourselves a brand new team member, Sigilyph, the Psychic and Flying type, whom I have since named Naz. He is going to be the star of the show for the next little while as we continue to battle trainer after trainer. We're going to be taking care of the rest of the trainers here in the Desert Resort today, and then we're going to be heading on into that little ruin that we saw up on the north end of the area and checking out what's going on in there. We're going to have some new Pokemon to talk about, and we're actually going to be getting very close to getting ourselves yet another team member here in the very near future, if you can believe it. We pretty much have exhausted all of our need for Marty at this point, so Zebstrika not going to be a permanent member of our team, but he's not going to be quite replaced. I mean, we might as well still keep him. He's level 28, so he's gonna hang out for a little bit longer, but he will be getting replaced eventually once we get closer to a full 6. In fact, I'm probably going to replace him before I replace Patrat, because at least Patrat can still use things like Cut and Flash for me. So there you go. Down goes Mylene, and now we do get our obligatory Pokemon Ranger Battle Berry. And we do have Naz at a level where he doesn't have to worry about running into Pokemon in the deep sand anymore, so that's really good. Even, I mean, I guess with the Repel active, I should say. But we got another Ranger here. I think we only have maybe 1 or 2 fights in this area left, and then we can head into the next area, which I am very excited for because... yeah, like I said, we're going to be getting ourselves getting close to getting another new Pokemon added to our team. And that one's going to be a lot more work than Naz. What I love about Naz is that I can just slot him right in, and he immediately does the job. And, you know, of course, that freaking hurt. Holy crap, that was a lot of damage. I'm going to use Psybeam this time. Psybeam is the stronger move of the two. With Air Cutter, it's more just hoping that you get the critical hits, which honestly I haven't been getting, even with the scope lens, which is kind of surprising. Blitzel this time. I'm going to keep you out, and I am going to hope that you can absolutely just brute force your way through this, but there's a possibility that you won't. Oh, so close. I was hoping for it, but it looks like Naz is going to go down to this. That's okay. I will just switch on over. Honestly, I'm just going to probably just switch on. Well, now I'll use Arthur. I was going to use Marty for this, just, you know, to get the little bit of extra money from the amulet coin, but nah. Every little bit of experience counts, so let's just take you out. And then we are going to be getting our hands on I think a rare candy down here, if I'm not mistaken. So down goes Pokemon Ranger Jaden, who apparently got a mouthful of sand. Sir, if you were in the middle of this sandstorm, like I look at something like this, and listen, being able to see is one thing, okay? Like you're blinded by the sand, you need to have goggles and things like that. I get it. But you could never open your mouth. You would have to cover your face out in something like this at all times. You would be screwed otherwise. But anyway, we got ourselves TM39 Rock Tomb. Rock Tomb is a move that has a base power of 50 and an accuracy of 80, which doesn't sound super hot until you consider the fact that Rock Tomb has a guaranteed chance of lowering the Pokemon that's hit with its that's hit speed. So really, really nice, especially when on slower Pokemon, which, you know, most rock types are, so it kind of makes sense. And yeah, definitely one worth keeping, and one we're actually going to probably end up using relatively soon. This is the rare candy. I think. No, it's still not. What the heck? I thought this was. We got a Firestone. I mean, I will take that, I suppose. But I need to get my hands on a rare candy. Is it this? There you are. Okay, I thought it was around here somewhere. I'm going to try to get past this Psychic without getting in a fight. Thank you. And then I'm going to try to make my way on over to the doctor again. Oh, I got caught in the corner. Son of a gun. Oh, hello there. Another Sigilyph. I would be very tempted to catch you if I hadn't already invested enough experience into my current one. But now we're just going to leave. Funny that on the off chance we got another one after. I mean, you know, knowing my luck, it would have just been another neutral-natured Pokemon. So whatever at this point. We'll just keep going. I got so unbelievably unlucky trying to search for additional Sigilyph, and I just eventually gave up. And I mean, a neutral nature is better than at least the gentle-natured one that I caught at the very beginning, because lowering any defenses, no. If I could lower attack and raise any other stat, I'd be okay with that. But Yeah, no, I'd rather just have a neutral nature if that's going to be the case. All right, let's start by battling the Solosis here. I think this is the last trainer in the area. There's possibly one I might have missed in just my sort of weird, strange pattern that I used to navigate this entire area. I tried to just go in a circle, a counterclockwise circle, but kind of didn't work so well. All right, come on. Can we get those crits, dang it? You would think. Now, Naz is going to get an... Oh, there's the crit. Okay, when it's not even needed. Naz is going to get an even better special type, special flying type move a little bit later on. So do look forward to that. But Air Cutter gets the job done for now. And the other nice thing about Air Cutter is that in double battles, it actually hits both Pokemon, which those moves are always nice and dandy. And it also is important because with Generation 5... there was a lot of moves that in previous generations damaged both opposing Pokemon that now damage all Pokemon. I believe originally the only ones that damaged your team members and the opposing Pokemon was Earthquake, or I guess, and I think Fissure as well. But in this game, they also made things like Surf and Muddy Water damage your teammates and whatnot. Lots and lots of moves that are meant for damaging both opposing Pokemon. So something like Air Cutter is a boon in that regard. Not to say that there aren't a ton of double battles in this game anyway, but hey, you know, it's something to add on to Air Cutter's potency. Now, I'm going to take this, and we're just going to go straight on through the sand now, all the way back up. There's one trainer I thought I ran into, and apparently I was... Oh, that's right. I didn't actually re-up my repel. Another one? Okay, it's like the game is sending me a sign. No, you need to catch another Sigilyph. Like, look at this. I swear, I was at it for 45 freaking minutes trying to get another one, and no, I am sticking by my guns with this one. I'm not going to do it anymore. That may have been a modest-natured Sigilyph that I just let pass me by, but you know what? I don't care. We are going to continue and make our way up to the ruins once again. So let's head on inside, and I can welcome you all to Relic Castle. Now, there is technically only one randomly encountered Pokemon that can be caught in this area, so we're going to go over that one, and its name is Yamask. Yamask is a Ghost-type Pokemon that evolves into Cofagrigus at level 34. This is a heavily defensive Pokemon with a good special attack stat that will join the Munna family in the realm of almost always going last with its 30 base speed stat. This thing is all about defenses, and with its only weakness being Ghost and Dark, it fills that role pretty well. It doesn't learn a lot of offensive moves at all, however, and in the main story that can be kind of irritating to deal with, as its moveset is more tailored to something like a setup Pokemon, so fitting that into your main team isn't the most ideal. That said, this Pokemon is still pretty good and your first option if you're insistent on adding a Ghost type to your team, since it's all you're going to be getting access to until after the 6th gym, believe it or not. All right, now we can proceed. Let me talk about how the Relic Castle works. And actually, I think this guy's going to explain it for me. There are two things I learned about Quicksand. If you try to walk through the middle, you'll fall. And if you try to run through it, you'll also fall. Let's start by battling this trainer. So see these Quicksand pits? If you are just don't hold the B button at all when walking through them. And again, like he says, don't walk through the direct center. If you try to run, it will just suck you in. But if you don't, you should be fine. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And there, I don't think there is a place, at least in this portion of the Relic Castle, the part that's accessible to us at the moment, that that we would want to intentionally fall down in. So I'm not even going to worry about that. I had a feeling that thing was going to be using a light screen here. So you know what? I am going to just save myself some time here and get a spark off and just take you out immediately. I think Sigilyph learns Reflect in a few more levels, not too long from now, so we should be okay. Gosh, Marty, yeah, even your special defenses are not all that great, but that's supposed to be the lower stat, I believe. But anyway, down with you. We're going to get the double money as well. Both are going to get a very good amount of experience because Sigilyph is worth a ton. And there we go. Now, let's proceed. Lots and lots and lots of Psychic-type trainers in here for some reason. Couldn't exactly tell you why. Psychic Dua with her Woobat. Really the only Psychic-type Pokemon in this game that just outright sucks. All the rest of them are freaking awesome, and I mean that. We haven't encountered a good chunk of them yet, but man, or at least, well, I think we've seen like prevos of most of them, but we haven't actually like gotten to the areas where we can catch them yet. But There are, I think, 6 new psychic types in this generation, or 6 new psychic type families, I should say, and all but the Woobat line are good to some degree. It's just, I don't know why Woobat is even a thing. It's like, why would you ever want such a basic psychic type that really isn't capable of doing all that much? I mean, its typing is interesting, but Sigilyph is just that, but better in every single freaking way. It's so much more well worth your time to get one. Oh, we're not back to this again with the Munas using Moonlight and crap. Gosh. Can we get a crit here? I'm just hoping for the luck on a crit, and then this thing should go down with ease. Come on. Mana, I swear. Why must you stall me out of this victory? It's really annoying. You're just going to use it until you run out of them, aren't you? I guarantee it. I was like, oh, I've taken any. No, used in prison. Okay, thank goodness for that. Now let's hope that air cutter doesn't miss. That would have been incredible if that happened. I was kind of actually hoping for the sake of the memes. Now we got the crit, though. So I guess that happened for the sake of the memes. Anyway, let's continue. We got one more trainer here. I'm going to go around, or maybe 2? I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go around the outside here. Are either of you trainers? Hello? Trainer, you still can't move ahead because there's so much sand. I'll do my best to remove the sand. Give me a second. Well, what about you? I'm carrying 2 Pokemon fossils, but they're just so heavy. Would you take one of them off my hands? Well, I think I would very much like to, but before I do that, I want to discuss what each of these fossils turn into, because yes, this is yet another instance where we can pick ourselves a fossil to revive into a Pokemon. If you pick the Plume fossil, you get Archon, which is a rock and flying type Pokemon that evolves into Archeops at level 37. This thing is an absolute beast with an insanely high attack stat of 140 and a 110 speed stat, with even a special attack stat that's nothing to sneeze at. It's all about hitting first and hitting hard, and it does it so extremely well, learning a whole myriad of insanely good moves such as Crunch, Acrobatics, Rock Slide, and even Dragon Claw while leveling up. There are 2 big glaring issues with this Pokemon, though. The first is its 5 weaknesses on top of its bad defenses and HP stat, making it very easy to lose if you should ever actually take a hit. It is essentially a glass cannon, although maybe that's not apt. I suppose you should call it more of a paper nuke, because not only that, but once its health drops below 50%, its ability kicks in, which is Defeatist. If it goes below 50%, it will see a drastic drop to all of its offensive stats, which is a big issue. This Pokemon is definitely the better of the 2 options and has way better base stats if you can keep its health above 50%. And the problem is that you can't get that back unless you do a swap to remove the stat changes on the Pokemon. So while it's a very good Pokemon, while it's a good glass cannon, and while it is a very good sweeper, I want to talk about the other one first and rationalize this one a little bit so you can understand, because if you pick the cover fossil, you get Tirtouga, which is a rock and water type Pokemon that evolves into Caracosta at level 37. This thing has seemingly very clearly inferior stats to Archeops, as it's got 70 less total base stats, and its really only amazing stat seems to be defense, making it more comparable to Crustle than its fossil counterpart. At least it seems that way, but again, there's that ability we're talking about. Caracosta actually has a pair of pretty good possible abilities, one being Solid Rock, which means that it takes less damage from super effective hits, which is the one that we want. Caracosta also has a ridiculously good move that it learns at level 40 that both makes and breaks it. This is called Shell Smash. Shell Smash lowers the defense and special defense of this Pokemon by 1 stage in exchange for raising its speed, attack, and special attack stats all by 2 stages, instantly propelling this Pokemon into sweeper mode. It also has a fantastic typing, water always being a huge boon, and rock being there to round out its resistances to things like normal, flying, and poison. On top of that, it learns some really solid moves such as Smackdown, Aqua Tail, and Rock Slide. The biggest issue here is setup, which is something that Archeops doesn't need, but even with Shell Smash in play, Caracosta has way better defenses between the 2 of them, so it's a bit more well-rounded while not being as explicitly powerful. For me, the key distinction really falls between their 2 differences in type, water or flying, and the problem is, we already got a flying type, so I'm going to be picking the cover fossil. There's a fossil Pokemon that used to swim in the ancient sea, and we got ourselves the cover fossil. Thank you very much for that one. Now, we need to figure out how to resurrect this thing, but how are we going to go about doing that? Well, first things first, I'm going to drop down here in the sand very quickly, because if I do that, there is actually an item that we can get down here. A couple of items, in fact. One right on the pile, which is an elixir. Thank you very much. And there is another item over here, which is a revive. So that's really the only reason to kind of bypass all that. Now, let's see. Can I get upstairs without running into any wild Pokemon? I'm not going to honestly trust it. And, of course, the second I leap over the ledge, I am immediately grabbed by a Sandile. All right. Let me use a repel here really quickly to get out of here. But I think we are done with this place, so we can get out of here. But we need to figure out what we're going to do with this fossil. Well, do you remember a place that we have already been to in this game that happens to deal in some way with fossils? That's right. We're going to Nacrene City. And here we are. Okay, you're probably wondering, Nacrene City makes sense. There's fossils here. It's probably somewhere in the museum, right? But who do we talk to exactly? Now, my initial thought that it's got to be Lenora's husband, right? Well, no. Actually, it's this lady right here, the one with the doorway behind her. I am researching Pokemon fossils here. You have a fossil, don't you? Shall I turn it back into a Pokemon? Yes. All right. I will turn the cover fossil back into a Pokemon. Now, I'm going to be doing soft resetting for the nature on this one because you can do that before you do the revive. So we got a Tirtouga here. Beautiful, and I'm going to be nicknaming this thing. Let's take a look at it. So it is a male, and I'm going to be naming it after Crush the Turtle. And very simple name. A lot of pop culture references with the names in this playthrough thus far. But that's mostly because, it's kind of fitting of the culture that we're seeing in Pokemon, the American culture. So there we go. Got ourselves Crush, and now let's take a look at its nature. I would honestly like to get a useful one that's not a neutral nature this time, if we could. Now, if that was the other speed-heavy, speed-happy nature, I would be okay with that, because this one raises speed but lowers attack. I would rather raise speed and lower special attack with Crush. So, unfortunately, that one is not going to fly, so I'm going to have to soft reset until I get a better one. So, give me time, and eventually we will have one. But I'm not going to make you guys wait until, the end of this episode or anything. We're just going to call it here. Next episode, I'm going to meet you guys back over on Route 4, just before the gate to Nimbasa, and we're going to be heading on into the next area then. We'll be giving the experience share to Crush so that he can get the bulk of the experience, especially because the area we're about to head into is not very water-type friendly. So he's just going to be kind of on the back burner for a while we continue to work on Naz and Arthur, and that's pretty much it. So with all that said, guys, thank you all so very much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.